All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Ship It Nation YouTube station? We are back with another edition of the NBA show. It's the first one for BJ and I after the All-Star break. I am not in prison. I had my walls painted back behind me, so all the photos are down. But BJ, what's going on, my man? It feels like it's been forever. There wasn't a game last Friday, no game Monday, and it's been almost 2 weeks since we've been on the show. What's going on, my man? How's your Friday going?
Man, it's going great. Yeah, 2 weeks too long. Nice little refresher, though, kind of getting a couple days off, kind of rescope a little bit. Got in some golf. My little guy started walking around. So I've been busy over here on the home front, but excited to watch some ball tonight.
Yeah, should be a good one. And Sean Sullivan says his best. He dubbed the pool party, and we're going to have a pool party tonight. It's the cover boy. I really like Jordan Poole tonight. We talked a little bit pre-show. It's going to be tough to get off of him tonight, in my opinion, but hey, as you're coming in, make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe. Even if you're watching this on playback, it certainly helps us out over here a ton. We're almost up to 10,000 subscribers. We got some big announcements coming up too, so make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you have those alert buttons ready for when those announcements come out. But BJ, we got 6 games to talk about on DK, 9 games if you're playing there over there on the FanDuel slate. Can't wait to get into this. My boy Nades is in the house tonight. What's going on, Nades? He's in the NBA streets tonight. Nades has been grinding that hockey over there. I know he was watching that Canada USA game last night. I did not watch it. Did you watch any hockey last night, BJ?
No. I was looking at the app, though. I was hoping we got the win, but that video got me fired up, man. I think it was 3 fights in 9 seconds, and ended up getting the win. It got me all jacked up. Saw the stuff on social media. It was a fun time for sure.
Yeah, we're coming for you, Tambo. Tambo and all those Canadians, we're coming for you, man. The USA taking on Canada. That was awesome. I didn't watch it, but yeah, a lot of chatter on X about it. But let's dive right into it. We got our stone up here on the screen, proprietary information over here at Ship It Nation. The first game should be a pretty good one. Vegas thinks it's not going to be that great of a game. We got the Knicks coming off a nail-biter against the Chicago Bulls last night, taking on the Cavs. Cavs, first game after the All-Star break. We know how good that they've been, but talk to me a little bit about this game. We got the Knicks at the Cavs, about a 240-point total, BJ. I have some interest in this game. What about you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Hart is out tonight, and it looks like OG, I think he's playing. I think he's still questionable, but I believe he's going to be in the mix tonight. Shout out. We talked about it pre-show. Shout out Deuce McBride, still 4,300. If he gets to start, obviously these ownership numbers are going to change. He'll be fully in the mix. How many DraftKings points did he score last night? You gave me that total before.
49 and some change, almost 50.
49 and change, still 4,300. But couldn't agree more with you. I really do like this game, and partly because of, how the fantasy production on the Knicks side, we can really narrow that down. But on the other side too, I mean, we talk about it, in previous shows, when these Cavs, get into close games, these prices aren't necessarily correct. Nice high total, like 242. It might have gone up a click, but 242 a couple of hours ago. And I really like it. Ownership's really low. We'll start with the Knicks side. I mean, this side would be a little bit more shaky for me. Obviously, if Deuce McBride is going to be in the starting lineup tonight and flirt with his, 30 minutes, he's going to be a nice big smash button for me. But I believe Precious is going to get some minutes as well. I believe the minutes projections that I have, if I look back on it, Deuce is going to be up around the high 20s. Precious kind of in the low 30s. Hopefully Deuce, gets a few extra minutes, so I'll be on top of him. But with Hart out of the lineup, it kind of makes you make some decisions. I don't love Cat or Precious as much as I normally would on a normal slate like this, only given 6 games and underneath 10K for Cat. Just a tough matchup on the other side with Mobley and Allen. I mean, the Cavs defense has kind of quietly been sneaky bad over the last couple of weeks. They're still ranking, right around the middle defensively as far as a season goes when you kind of look at it from the grand scope of things. But still kind of a tough little play for me. I think I'd rather go, guys like OG or Brunson over Cat tonight specifically. But essentially because of the way that they play and the minutes that they get, and the possible fantasy upside, everybody will be in play. So my final kind of rankings on this will obviously Deuce, number one for me. Don't look at that ownership. That ownership will drastically change as we get closer to lock, followed by Brunson, OG, Cat, and Bridges, and then throw some Precious in there. But, Precious at 62 is going to be a tough spot for me. But the side that I really like, and maybe, kind of competing with Jordan Poole as far as one of my favorite plays on the entire slate, is going to be Donovan Mitchell on the other side. We have him at sub 10K, 8,300. I anticipate this game, staying around that, 7, 8, point mark. When you think about it in the grand scheme of things, it's 2 or 3 possessions go either way. And this could be, a 2-3 point ball game. The Knicks, they're so bad against the pick and roll, and Donovan Mitchell and Garland are so good against it. Flirting around the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, according to Rio in the slate plan. So I really like both the guards here. The question would be is if you're going to get a little bit mixy with Mobley and Allen down low, against Cat and Precious and OG. I believe the matchup is tough. Foul trouble increases. So I'm kind of looking at game stacks here where I'm picking, between Mitchell and Garland. I think in this kind of a slate with a 242 total, I don't love it, but you definitely could play both together. Like we've said on previous shows, as we get into the second quarter, third quarter of these games, they run rotations opposite from each other. So we could still, get upside from both of those guys at both of those tags. But that's kind of where I stand. I just really want to look at Mitchell and Garland, kind of fade away from the Mobley and Allen. Don't hate it, but all these prices, are fair. And we got some low ownership. Anything, you said you liked the game. What are we thinking on your side?
Yeah, I really like this game. So Deuce McBride was 4,000 last night. Like you said, bumped up to 4,300 after going for almost 50. But he was only 15% owned last night. So why do you think and that was late news, though. So do you think people will be on because, A, it's 6 games? I get that, as opposed to, 10 from last night? But why do you think – I think he's almost got to be a guaranteed start if even if OG is back. I think OG slides in for Precious. But why do you think Miles is going to be so highly owned tonight?
Yeah, well, I think that they can't – I don't think they can put Precious in the line. I mean, they would go big against him, and I know you have to, but I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, when you compare it, I know they're not the same positions, but we're going to get to some guys later in the slate. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. is 4,200, so $100 less. Wendell Carter, he's 43. Obviously, different position, but these are going to be decisions we're going to have to make along with the slate, and I think the click is going to be a lot easier for Deuce, not only given the upside that we saw last night, but from the last year or so, or even going into last year, we know that he could produce. And we know if he gets the minutes, he could absolutely destroy his tag. So I think it's an easy click. And I think as we get closer to lock, he will be popular.
Yeah, I think it's an easy click too. I mean, he can put up 40, 45, 50 like he did last night. Kevin Porter Jr., Wendell Carter Jr., I don't know if they can. I mean, maybe they could, right? But I think what did Deuce play last night? Deuce played 40-plus minutes last night, and I think he gets 30, 35-plus again today. I really like Deuce McBride tonight. He's one of my favorite plays. I like Cat tonight. I know he's got the Twin Towers and the Triple Towers now to deal with, but Cat's been just absolutely balling. Still under 10K. I like him at 9,800. Then on the flip side, I disagree with you a little bit in the chat, I guess. I don't really like Donovan Mitchell. I said this is their first game back. They actually played last night as well. I'm off D. Mitch and Garland, but you know who I am on? It's very gross. Only if he starts at the small forward, shooting guard eligibility, Max Strus. I don't mind Max Strus, 4,600. I think he can get you 30, 35 DraftKings points. But it's Deuce McBride, I think, is a great play on tonight's slate. Moving on to the next game, we got the Grizzlies taking on the Magic. Both of these teams played last night as well. Grizzlies got drubbed in Indiana. The Magic picked up a win in Atlanta. Should be a pretty good game. We know the Grizzlies want to get the ball, have some pace, move up and down the court. They also want to play 10-plus players as well. Magic, more grinded out type game. Paolo just absolutely balling last night. Wendell Carter Jr. had a good fantasy game last night. But talk to me a little bit about this game. You got the Grizzlies headed down to the Orlando, -3.5 total, a little bit lower than the last game, 225 points.
Yeah, super interesting on that spread in general. I don't believe we have any news on Ja yet. I mean, he's missed most of the back-to-backs this season. So interested to see that news as we kind of break closer to lock. But, a quick, defensively as a whole per team, I mean, the Grizzlies are so fast, and because they're so fast and they play and they want to get up shots and run up and down the floor, they're giving up a ton of catch and shoots. They're giving up tons of transition points. They're giving up points at the basket. So normally, on a given slate, we want to get some pieces from this game. But the Magic don't do any of that. They want to play in the half court. They want to play slow. So I don't believe they could take full advantage of it. This is going to qualify as a game I don't absolutely love. I mean, there's 6 games and plenty of other options we can get to, especially with the question mark. And my belief is we get closer to lockjaw. Even if he does play, I don't know how many minutes he will play. So we'll anticipate him in at this point, but I mean, I don't love much. I mean, you can make a case for Aldama off the bench at 4,500. If he plays his mid 20s of minutes, we know he has upside behind the 3-point line and rebounding well, gets on the floor early and often off the bench. So I could make a case for him. If Ja is playing, I don't want any really other pieces from the Grizzlies side. I mean, like you said, the Magic are slow, grinded out. I think regardless of the pace the Grizzlies want to play at, I think the Magic will be able to slow this game down and play under this 224, 225 total. So not really super enticing, but if Ja was to miss, I mean, obviously bump Bane, obviously bump JJJ. Those would become, much better plays, specifically JJJ, in my opinion, if Ja was to miss. But like I said, no word. So not really anticipating that. With not tons of value on the slate, you could make a case for Vince Williams Jr. He is questionable tonight, but 3,100 playing pretty solid. I mean, he's not going to go fill it up for you, but if you find yourself a lineup you really like and you're stuck with 3,100, he would definitely be in consideration tonight. And then jumping over to the Magic side, I mean, not real much. I mean, you can make a case for Cole Anthony. You can make a case for Franz. You can make a case for Paulo. But Wendell Carter Jr. getting 32 minutes last night. Kind of, stealing what Rio said in the slate plan, but kind of icing out Goga. I mean, 4,300. If he gets his 33 minutes, I mean, there's tons of room at that tag. I would be comfortable playing that, player in that position up to about 5,300. So he's about mispriced by $1,000. So really like him. He'll be popular. And then the decision becomes, if you are playing guys in this game, to be Franz and Paulo. So, obviously Paulo was going to get more ownership, not only because he played well last night, but I think people like clicking his name, especially when he's cheaper than Franz. But I believe it's going to be a little bit of a tougher matchup for him. So I'll lean Franz in this situation for the $400 extra, but not much here that I like. I do like, the first game more. I do like a couple of games after this a lot more. And I think, this would be one of the 2 games that I wouldn't have a problem Xing out of your player pool tonight and feeling really comfortable about it.
Yeah, excellent breakdown there. I agree with you on Santi Aldama. I like him, 4,500. I think he's a great play. He shot 10 threes last night, only made 2 of them. He makes 2 or 3 more of those, and he's really looking good. Then Gigi Jackson, if for some reason Gigi could, I don't think he's going to, but like you said, second night of a back-to-back, if some reason he sneaks into the starting lineup at 4,200, I think he's a great play. Cole Anthony, great play. I do like Franz, Paolo, and Wendell Carter Jr. Obviously not going to play all them together. It would be maybe max one of those and then maybe max one of the Grizzlies. But yeah, not going to go too crazy. With this, because those Magic games, I feel like they're always like 104 to 99 type games, which obviously we don't want to target in DFS.
Would you be, you said max one, you're talking Franz Paulo, right? Are you comfortable playing max one of Franz Paulo with Wendell Carter if you have a piece coming back from the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think that's fine. And I should have clarified that. Max one of Wagner and Banchero. And then, Wendell Carter Jr., like you said, and like, Rio said too, I mean, that's just way too cheap, $4,300 for a guy that played, 30-plus minutes last night. And then Cole Anthony got hurt last night, I believe, or something happened to him. He left, and then he came back. I got the alert. At 5,100, we know this. We know this game wants to get up and down. At least the Grizzlies want to get up and down. So I don't hate maybe like I don't even hate like a Cole and Wendell Carter, right? A Tambo combo pack where you're getting 2 guys for what, 9.4. I don't hate that. Maybe even combining those with one of those studs. But I'm with you. I'm Franz over Paulo tonight, but I do like them both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But ultimately to end it, I mean, it's just ugly like this in the Heat game. I mean, it's just, you're going to get, I know the totals are 10 points. But I mean, the amount of possessions I think is so much lower. I think in a clash between slow pace and high pace, I think the Magic will be able to kind of take these Grizzlies out of their game, if you will.
Yeah, Ricky Rose says Cole Anthony is trash with a bunch of H's on there. Hey, I don't disagree with you, but at 5,100, I do think he is he's in the player pool anyway. I don't know if he's in a single entry or 3 max, but definitely in the player pool. Next game up should be an exciting game for a variety of reasons, right? We got the cover boy Jordan Poole on there. We have the Bucks with no Dame. It looks like Giannis is going to be playing tonight. Is he going to be on a minutes restriction? We got Kuzma going back to his old home. We got Brolos out there, been balling with 22 last night. Taking on this Wizards team that, man, for a team that's not very good, they seem to produce a lot from a fantasy perspective, a lot of cheap pieces in there. You got Jordan Poole, you got Bub, Keyshawn George. Anyway, talk to me a little bit about this game. I'm very excited about this game as well, but maybe not some of the pieces you're thinking about. But Bucks, 6-point favorites. The total's a little low, BJ. It's only 228. Which to me it should be a little bit higher, but talk to me about this game, Bucks at the Wizards.
Yeah, you said, I mean, Kuz coming back. I mean, the Wizards have been playing really well, and it correlates the moment Kuz left the Wizards. Here we go. They're playing really good offensively, really efficient. So yeah, I mean, this is our fantasy goodness game. So obviously with Dame out, and like you mentioned pre-show, Rollins not seeing the floor last night. We're gonna look up and see Kevin Porter Jr. as a top value play tonight. We obviously know his upside. We obviously know that 4,200 if he gets the minutes is just too cheap. So I'll start there as, rightfully so, a very powerful piece. Like I said, as we get closer to lock, these ownerships are going to change. And he'll be right up there with Deuce McBride, probably much more popular. But I wouldn't be surprised to see myself making a lineup tonight with both those guys in it. Some things to look at. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, he got the price bump, 6,900. Unfortunately, he's going to be in play for me tonight. I mean, he's playing mid to high 30s in minutes, taking mid-teen shots. I think with Dame off the floor tonight, we're going to be able to push that, maybe even flirt with 20 shots. The question mark is the Giannis stuff. I mean, we were chatting about it. I mean, 24 minutes now. He's, supposedly off this limit. Doc says they want to limit minutes, in the recent, kind of time moving forward. So 11-5, I think there's some better clicks. I don't mind it if you want to go Giannis against this Wizards team that, historically for the season has not been very good. But I think I'm going to go other places. I think I'm on the Kuzma stuff. I'm on the Porter stuff. Just a note, I mean, AJ Green played 30 minutes last night. There's no upside there, but 3,400, if you're making tons of lineups, I mean, he'll be on the floor against a Wizards team that, could offer some upside, especially at 30 minutes. Not saying to play it. I'm just, kind of offering options, when we have 6 games and not a ton of value in the 3Ks. I guess, my question would be before I move off the Bucks is the Brook Lopez stuff. I mean, 5,900, he would fall into a play for me that I think people are going to look away from on the Bucks side. So before I kind of round out the Bucks, do you have any love for Brook Lopez over there at 5,900?
Yeah, man, I love Brook tonight. Like I said, he was balling last night. He can bang in threes. Wizards pretty bad against centers. You take Dame time out, there's 15 plus shots right there up for grabs. I understand Kuz is going to get some of those. And I haven't seen if Doc said anything, but to me, it's going to be tough for Giannis to play up into the 30s, 30 minutes, 30 plus minutes tonight. But yeah, I really like Lopez. And then with, and then I'll hand it back to you. And then with Prince out, I see him in the starting lineup, in our starting lineup. But AJ Green, and he's going to be 20% owned. At 20% owned, no, that's projection. 10% owned. I really like AJ Green tonight. His ceiling is 30, but at that price, like you said it earlier, like if you find a team you really like and you're stuck with one position and you have $3,400, if AJ Green starts, I don't hate him tonight. I really like this Bucks team. And man, I just couldn't fathom playing Kevin Porter Jr. over Deuce McBride tonight. I think that is just an atrocious, egregious play if someone does that. But that's just my opinion. Gary Trent's been balling too without Dame the last couple games before the All-Star break, so I wouldn't hate him either.
Absolutely. And then jumping over to the Wizards side, I mean, we talked about it. We talked about it when we saw the cover, but I mean, 7,600, Jordan Poole. I mean, Brook Lopez is going to play his typical back off defense off the pick and roll and allow shots to happen from Jordan Poole. especially at 10% ownership. I think his ownership may be a little bit higher than that, but I don't envision him getting above 20. He's going to be probably my favorite play of the day. Definitely will find my core tonight in a nice little pace matchup. I know the total isn't what we think it is, but still flirting around that 230 number. Only 2 possessions, underdogs. I think he's in a great spot tonight. And a little SAR at 5,600. Going into the break, he played. Oh, dang, I didn't write it down. But going into the break, he got up to 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. I would anticipate high 20s, 30, low 30s minutes, 5,600. Offer some upside. I think he could be athletic around Brook Lopez. Obviously bring him out. I mean, Giannis might get a little matchup too, but I don't mind him at 5,600, especially at low ownership. And because of the pieces we have for the Bucks side, I'm looking for Wizards side. I saw somewhere in the chat, obviously Smart and Middleton in. I don't anticipate them taking too much away from Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole is going to have the ball. He's going to be the point guard. He's going to get shots. I think this is a great matchup. And those will be my 2 favorite plays from the Wizards side. You can make a case for Bub and Koulibaly and Keyshawn George, even Smart and Middleton, but I think all their prices are very fair. I don't think there's much meat on the bone. And I mean, if there were $500 less, they could be consideration, but these are some healthy tags, 5,200 for Bub, 6,700 for Koulibaly. I think we're going to want pieces to these games, and it won't be any of those guys. So sign me up for Jordan Poole. I think we did get confirmed in the chat that we have a pool party from Sean in the chat. So I'm excited to kind of stack up this game and see how much money we win at the end of the night.
Let me ask you this. And I think what Lyle said, someone else commented, you commented, Ricky commented, Marcus Smart's first game with the team, I think that's going to add something. He's not really a shooter per se, but I mean, 5,500 Chris Middleton, he wants to go out there and just beat their ass. We often talk about revenge games, and I know Chris has been beat up and hadn't played in over 20 days or almost 20 days, but man, you just got to think he wants to stick it to the Bucks. Any interest in Chris Middleton at 5,500, probably playing 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. You kind of rounded out with me. I agree with you, but if he gets 22 minutes tonight, I think there's so many other options, 2v2s, even 3v3s that you can kind of, take his tag and make some great combos with outside of him. So I envision 22 minutes tonight, and that's just not going to be enough minutes on the floor for the price tag that he has.
Yeah, I think if he gets to 30 minutes, he may break in half. That's how durable he is this day. And I'm going to leave you with this, and it could come back to haunt me come Monday. I think Giannis is the worst play on the slate. At 11.5, he's got to get 70 to be on the winner. Worst play on the slate, in my opinion. And hopefully on Monday, I don't have egg on my face when I show up.
What do you think his ownership will be? Obviously, we haven't calculated yet, but give me a guess. I mean, like we talked about pre-show, where do you spend your money? I mean, obviously, he's the most expensive.
Not on Giannis. Anybody but Giannis.
Okay. Anybody but Giannis. So you're going to go what? Cade, Kyrie, Cat. Obviously, all those guys much better.
Yeah, Towns. I'm taking Towns over Giannis personally. I mean, like I said, I think Giannis has to get 70 plus to be on the winner tonight at 11.5. I just don't think he's going to play enough. I don't know. We'll see. That's just my take, though. I'm off Giannis. I'm normally off Giannis, though.
This is the Giannis Age show. I'm with you.
I'd say he's 15 to 20% in the lotto.
Yeah. I think it's just too easy to build, right? Like what you talk about Deuce, you talk about Kevin Porter, you talk about Wendell. I mean, there's going to be money that, people are going to need to spend. I think it's going to be easy to be able to click his name.
Yes. Don't click Kevin Porter. Don't click Giannis. Like I can't, like if Kevin Porter outscores Deuce McBride, there's just no way that happens. I don't think. Just no way.
I love it. No, I love the ham takes. Let's do it. I don't have a side. I agree with you. I just might play both tonight and just see, if they could both get 35-40.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I'm sure Nuance is in the chat. Here we go. He won't get 70. I'm with Ham on that one. All right, Jordan, we're in. There's Sean saying Giannis is a great play. I disagree, just for the simple fact that I don't think he's going to play enough minutes. I certainly understand that Washington is bad against big men. I just don't think he's going to play 35, 32 minutes and going to be able to get the requisite points that's going to take to be on the winner. That's just my stand. It doesn't necessarily have to be yours. Moving on to the next.
Over under how many travel? 2.5 travels for Giannis tonight.
I'll take the under on that.
Okay. I'm the big travel guy, but yeah, they don't call it on him enough.
No, they don't call him on that. Yeah. Next game on the slate should be a snoozer, 218-point total. We got the Heat headed up to take on the Toronto Raptors. Any interest in this game? I have a few pieces. Looks like we got a Davion Mitchell revenge game going on there. I heard some Scotty Barnes chat I heard some Scotty Barnes chatter in the chat earlier. But talk to me about this game. Should be a quick one. Heat at the Raptors.
Yeah, this is going to go in the bucket as the Grizzlies game for me. The Heat have been playing really bad. I mean, going into the All-Star break, the last 2 games they scored 113 and 101, but the games before that, as a team, they scored 85 and 86, and the 86 was versus the Nets. So not playing good at all. They're losing to bad teams. They're playing at a really slow pace, and they've just been kind of a cluster. So I mean, obviously, like, you can make cases for all these guys. I mean, Hero's going to play. Jovic is questionable. Obviously, we have the injury, with Ingram, Tucker, Pirtle. None of those guys are going to play for the Raptors side, but we'll keep it short. I mean, Bam, he's going to highlight as a great play tonight, being able to take advantage of Mogbo and Scotty Barnes and whoever else, Orlando Robinson on the other side. So like Bam at 81. Ware's price, I mean, he's up there. I mean, I'd much rather go Bam, but we've seen a handful of games where Ware has showed upside, especially if Bam is going to be a facilitator in some of these kind of better paced matchups against bad defense. So I'm going to be in the boat tonight. Bam has a higher assist night, and if that's the case, then Ware would be being able to benefit from being alone down low. So 6,400 seems like a steep tag, but definitely still in play for me. Hero, I mean, yeah, 8,600, definitely make a case for that. I mean, especially a low ownership because you are getting against the Raptors. This is a great kind of bounce back spot coming out of the All-Star break and not playing great. And then to keep it short, I mean, the Raptors side, it's just quickly for me. I mean, 6,200 going into the break, he had 30 minutes. I would anticipate somewhere between 31 and 34 minutes if I had to, bet on a bracket of minutes. That's where I would land. I agree with the 15-ish% ownership, if not a little bit higher, kind of in those mid-tier builds. But I mean, I'm struggling to find another Raptor that I like. I mean, talk to me if I'm wrong, but with Barnes, quickly, Barrett, all on the floor, no Mogbo for me at 4,900, no Dick for me at 4,500. I don't want to get, a Baji off the bench, no Shed for me. It's just going to be quickly because his tag, I believe, is about $1,000 off. So not much I like from this game. Let me know if I missed anything, but this is going to be a quick little snoozer and probably just the next on my player pool aside from quickly.
Yeah, I was leaning some Grady Dick. You say no just because Barnes and Quickly are in the lineup. And you or Rio would have, better information of how, what his touch time when they're both on the court. But at 4,500, I don't hate Dick. And then, yeah, you said it, Bam, a great spot. I was going to ask you, at a tenth of the ownership, you said Ware's just a little bit overpriced, but, coming in under, we have 2%, he may end up at 5 or whatever. I don't hate that. And then I don't see, I also had, and I don't see him on our sheet, but he had a very good game last time out, and that's Slow-Mo against Dallas, scored almost 38 DraftKings points, but he's not on our sheet, and I don't see he's injured or anything. But any love for Slow-Mo should he play tonight?
No, I think there's just better options, around. I mean, yes, we only have 6 games, but they're just better options. I know we could attack, the Raptors defensively, but just not really thinking about going there. This is, like I said, this is just kind of an X-out game for me. I don't mind on 6 games, especially when ownership gets super concentrated, like what we talked about. But just going to be off that tonight. Yeah, that was my bad. I got to throw Grady before Dick. So
that's why I said that. That's why I said the Grady part first. My guy Desmond in the chat, he's going to call us out. Please do. We got 2 games left on this fine Friday evening. Make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you hit that subscribe. We got 250 people in here watching. We certainly appreciate you tuning in, as always. Next up should be a pretty good real-life game. We got the Pistons taking on the Spurs. No Wemby, obviously. You probably saw KD and CP3 going at it, the 2 wily vets, talking about what they're going to be doing in the offseason. But, hey, Cade Cunningham, absolute dynamite all season long. There's another play in this game on the Pistons side that I'm in love with, BJ. Let's see if you say it. And then on the Spurs side, I got some few pieces as well. But talk to me about this game. Pretty high total, 235.5. Pistons minus 4.5 taking on these Spurs.
Yeah, no, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me as far as this game as a whole, I think I know who you're thinking of. I'll mention that in a sec. We see all the ownership on the Spurs side, and rightfully so. I mean, there's opportunity here. Obviously, with Wemby out, Fox played great last night. Vassell's getting up a ton of shots. I mean, we got guys like KJ and Sohan off the bench. I believe that Bassey's going to be in the starting lineup tonight at 3,700. So there's definitely going to be some ownership on the Spurs side, but something to take into consideration. I mean, over the last couple months, a couple months, Pistons have been sneaky good. Not only on offense, I mean, they're top 5 in offense, but defensively, I mean, they're up to top 3 in overall defense. They're second in rim defense. They're really stepping up. And I think this is the potential here where, the Pistons kind of run the Spurs out of the gym. It's going to be Cade and Duren, I think, is going to be the pick that you had in mind. 6,700, no Wemby off the floor. Yeah, their defense is really bad when you take them on, almost a double-digit difference from on the floor for Wemby and then off of the floor. So really like him at 6,700. Love Cade at 10-3. I think Cade is definitely a better spend of dollars over Giannis as well. You get the discount. Our guy Sir Thompson, I mean, at 5,300, he's been getting up the minutes. He does have upside coming out of the All-Star break. So like this Pistons side a lot more than I like the Spurs side. And like I said, I mean, I think it's going to be a cluster for the Spurs side. I mean, yes, Fox at 8,200, just missing a triple-double last night, was flirting with it. He's obviously at 8,200, just I think $1,000 too cheap for this current situation. So the ownership is right there. But I wish it was sneakier, but Vassell at 6K, I mean, he's getting the minutes last night. He had 33 last night and he had a tough, performance from the field. He was 5 for 14. I believe he was 1 for 5 from 3. But I mean, in the past where I thought games, where I thought Wemby was playing in games where I thought he was going to not see as many minutes as what others thought, I was all over Vassell. Now this was before Fox, because with Wemby off the floor and Fox off the floor, Vassell's going to, not pass and take some great shots. So yes, the price tag is up, and yes, he's getting a little popular, but Vassell and Fox will be my 2 favorite plays from the Spurs side. And then my sneaky kind of play here from the Spurs side is Keldon Johnson at 4,400. Last night he had 25 minutes. I'm kind of curious to see what happens on this back-to-back, but he's a young guy. We'll be able to take advantage of that. We've seen on some of these the back ends of back-to-backs where he gets a little increase in minutes. Shoots the ball well. I want to say, if my memory holds correct, he was like 6 for 8 from the field last night. 4,400. If he's able to do that again tonight with a few extra minutes, I believe he's a value play that nobody's looking at. Some thought to get off some of this popular value in the low to mid 4Ks. Really like him. I don't mind going back into the Sohan well at 5,500. He played okay last night. Was right around the same minutes as KJ. So don't mind it, but I'd rather go Keldon Johnson for 1,100 cheaper. But I mean, one of my favorite builds tonight is picking your Spur that you really like and getting Cade and Duren together. As you're making more lineups, mix in some Thompson at 53 that has shown us plenty of upside over the last couple of weeks going into the All-Star break. And then I see Beasley in chat. I can't get behind Beasley for $300 more than Thompson. I think I'd rather just go Thompson personally. But what are your thoughts on this game? Because I really like a couple of the builds where you get multiple Pistons and one of the Spurs coming back.
Yeah, my guy, Big Ant knows what's up. This is my guy, Arsar Thompson, playing 25-plus minutes, 32-plus DraftKings points in the last 4 games, and some of those have been with Cade on the floor. I think he's a ton of upside. He's going to score 15-some-odd real-life points, but going to get a lot of rebounds, blocks, steals, things like that. So I think Arsar Thompson is a great play. I think Cade's obviously a great play. De'Aaron Fox, I don't think I heard you mention CP3. And
no, I have him. I wrote, actually, it's funny, in my notes, I wrote he would be like the deep cuts. Like when you go on like iTunes or whatever, you find those deep ones. I would do that at 5,600. Not a phenomenal play at all, not a good play, but if I'm making 15 lineups tonight, it would be fun to have a couple of those pieces where we know he does have a little bit of upside at that tag.
Yeah, and listen, I hate CP3, the basketball player. I think he's terrible. 27 years in the league, never won a championship. But, man, any plays, he's going to play 28 to 32 minutes, and that's what he's done on the back end of back-to-backs. But we saw it early last night. He got more involved in the offense, and I think he continues to try to do that with no Wemby. And he also had, I think, 10 assists as well. I think he can do that again tonight. I don't hate the CP3 play, but I really like Thompson at that price tag. And then going back to a game, this is a little different position, but Bam or Banchero, I'll side with Bam, I think, in this one, just because the Raptors are so bad defensively against big men. But what's your take on this?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely Bam, but I don't hate going Paulo, but definitely Bam for me. And what it could be an ugly game, but the game stays close.
Yeah, and then Beasley, I don't like any Beasley night. I think you said the same thing. And then no other Spurs for me. Castle didn't start last night, if I'm not mistaken. I know he can put up 30, but I think I'm out on him as well. One game left, I believe.
I'm really quick. I didn't make it clear that's my fault. So Bassi, 3,700. I anticipate him to get the start tonight. He'll be very popular. Obviously a good play at 3,700. I've said it at the last couple of games, or the last, start of this show. There's not much 3K value, so he'll obviously be in play. But if for some reason he doesn't start, I think I'm going to get off the boat. If they go back to Bismack, I'm going to play Bassi.
Now, hold on, Justin Sports. Now, terrible is probably the wrong word, but for a guy that's played as long as he has, never gets it done in the playoffs.
He's been to one finals, I believe, right? He's only been to one.
Maybe one finals. I mean, he's a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer, and terrible is probably the wrong word. I just don't like him as a basketball player. So that's my own personal bias. Sean Sullivan says, nah, he's trash. He's trash now.
Not only that, I'm sorry to interrupt. Not only that, but I know a couple of guys, right? I live with the NBA referee's, son, right? And hot take, everybody hates him around the league. He's an asshole. He acts like he's hot shit. He's just not a good guy as far as it goes between communicating between everybody. Yes, when the cameras are on, he's okay, but bad guy, bad player, I'm on it too.
Old man is done. Justin, I keep calling this guy Justin. Yeah, Justin Sports. We're just having a good time. Appreciate you tuning in as always. We got one game left, and I'm playing him tonight, Justin Sports. I'm playing him tonight. I'm going to get in on the CP3 train. Yeah, you said De'Aaron Fox too. The guy was balling last night. I think he had close to 50s DraftKings points. But anyway, moving on to the next game. Another game, pretty high total in the 230s. Got the Pelicans. I like this team. For a team that's pretty bad, BJ, one of the worst in the league, they sure do put up a lot of fantasy goodness. Taking on the Mavericks. Kyrie had like 3 or 4 40-minute straight games before he took off the last one before the All-Star break. But talk to me a little bit about this game. Another one that I have a lot of love for. Pelicans at the Mavericks. Where are you going in this one?
Yeah, the two things that we do have to chat about is PJ Washington. I was trying to look to see if we got an update. He's still questionable the last time that I looked. Additionally, Missy is going to play at 5,200. So obviously we know about the lingering injuries for both these teams. Specifically down low against the Mavericks in the paint is where I want to look to attack. So like the real question for me is going to be like, do we Zion, do we not Zion, right? We're at 11, almost 12% here. I believe that's going to kind of get closer to 20% as the slate, continues to get close to starting. Before I kind of think about my thoughts, at a 20% Zion, do you go there personally against a really beat up interior for the Mavs?
Yes, I like Zion tonight. Yeah, 20% is kind of probably the max. Why do you think he's going to get so much steam heading up to lock?
Well, I think what we're talking about, I think there's nowhere to spend your money. I mean, there's going to be a handful of pieces. I mean, let's say Bassi starts, let's say Deuce starts, let's say Kevin Porter, is going to play big minutes. I mean, we're going to look at, people are going to look to roster those guys, Wendell, and we're going to look up and you're going to have 5 positions left at 7K each. And it's going to be an easy click, in my opinion. I think people will be a little scared of Giannis personally. And I don't think people will be super on the Cade stuff as we have it at 8%. I believe that's a fair percentage. Kyrie, I mean, he's another great play at 9.3, but I mean, there's nowhere to spend your money. Therefore, it's going to go to Zion. And the question is, does he kind of increase the minutes coming out of All-Star break? I think, yes, I could see it. But I think they'll still be a little careful with his minutes. So I think 20%, I mean, that's going to be a fade for me. You say you're on it. I like it. And obviously we've seen plenty of upside at his tag, regardless of the minutes that he has.
Right? Even with his minutes, he's been balling the 25 to 30 minutes he's been playing. A great matchup. He's just been a beast. Yeah, I interrupted you, so my apologies. But those are the reasons why I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And like I said, it's more of an ownership thing if he gets up that high. But can't really make a case for anybody. I mean, Trey Murphy, we chatted about him pre-show. I mean, he's a baller. He's been hooping. He just missed out on his triple-double going into All-Star break. But I think 84 would be the cap for me as far as salary goes, especially with Zion in the lineup, and especially, the kind of public leaning to a few extra minutes to Zion. The Misi stuff at 52, I mean, no ownership. I mean, they know they could take advantage of the starting center being PJ Washington on the Mavs side. So I don't mind him at low ownership. Jose, Grand Theft Alvarado, whatever they're calling him at 55. I mean, he's okay. I think we're around the kind of cap, for him as well at 5,500. So, I mean, this is going to profile as, a stackable game with such a high total, a close spread, value pieces, and reasonably priced studs. But it's tough for me to really get outside because you're going to go Misi, you're going to go Jose, you're going to go an over-owned Zion, in my opinion, a max price Trey Murphy. So I find it hard on the Pelican side. But for the Mavs side, I mean, you brought it up. I mean, he's playing as many minutes as he can handle for Kyrie, 9,300 against a team that just gives up everything on defense. Really like the spot for Kyrie, especially if his ownership stays below 10%. Max Christie, I mean, 5,400. He's been absolutely balling since coming over. His ownership is low. I really like that. And PJ Washington, he's going to be kind of like my second, tied with Christie as my favorite play on this game. If he does get the start, 7,200, obviously a little bit more expensive than we're used to. But I believe this is a great spot for him to double, get a few blocks, hit a few steals, hit a couple of shots. So I really like him at low ownership as well. But that's kind of where I stand. I mean, I'll keep it really central between Kyrie, PJ, and Max Christie on the Mavs side. And then if the ownership does get up to 20, I'm off the Zion stuff. And we'll try and get a little different with the Misi and the Jose Alvarado stuff in the mid fives. But, any takes here on what could be a really popular game as we get closer to lock?
Yeah, I mean, another game, we're obviously going to have some big decisions to make, but I think PJ Washington's one of the best plays on the slate, assuming there's no minutes restriction, 7,200 with no bigs, serviceable bigs. Obviously, AD's out, Lively's out. Who else? Gafford's out as well. And Washington power forwards, center eligible at 7,200. Assuming there's no minutes restriction, there's going to be 35 plus minutes for him. And he's their second best player. So I really like PJ Washington. Should he play tonight? I do like Jose Alvarado. I think he's in a great spot tonight. I hope my legacy is not tied to Klay Thompson being my boy. Like if that's my legacy, if that's what I'm known for, then man, I got a lot of work to do. But I am not on Klay Thompson tonight. I can promise you that. But I'm on Alvarado. I really like Zion tonight. You're scaring me saying he's going to get to 20%. Yeah, saying he's going to get to 20% tonight.
Well, I think, like I said, I would agree with what we have, but I could see avenues to where exactly how we're talking. I mean, people are going to talk themselves out of Cade, talk themselves out of Giannis, going to find on a Kyrie bill with some value and be like, oh, the perfect run back, Kyrie and Zion, and so that's kind of my belief. I mean, I'm guessing it's probably
Zion over Trey Murphy, basically the same price. Understandable that it's different positions, but
yeah, I think so.
I guess Zion's a sexier name, isn't he?
Yeah, it's the click. I mean, I see. Well, it's shout out. We see a well-rested Zion. Additionally, I don't think time off for him is good, man. You get him a couple of days off. He might have thrown on 10 pounds. He might have thrown on the BJ week off All-Star break, extra 5 pounds. But I don't know. I just can't get on it tonight. I mean, if he goes and plays 33 minutes, they're gonna put one right in my chin, and I'll take my loss and move on. But
and then the two other pieces you want to talk about, boys. Hey, no one loves Max Christie more than our guy Rio. I think Max Christie, someone said Max Christie to the moon. This guy has turned into like peak Luka Doncic in his Mavs days coming over here, wearing that 7-7 jersey, man. I like Max Christie's good. And I get it that Kyrie missed and PJ missed the game before the All-Star break. But, I mean, Dante put up, 45 DraftKings points? Like, I don't hate that at 4,600 either. I think this game going to be up and down. One other name that I'll mention just to keep an eye on, Jordan Hawkins at 4,600. Don't hate that as a dart throw. I mean, I'm playing Deuce McBride over any of these people, but if for whatever reason I needed Jordan Hawkins, I would go there. But Deuce McBride, a phenomenal play in my opinion. If Kevin Porter Jr., we got to think of something, BJ. If Kevin Porter Jr. outscores Deuce McBride, we got to give something back to the people, like a free something to it.
Yeah, you're talking it up, but yeah, no, we got to think of something before the show. Real quick, shout out to Ant. I mean, oh shoot, wrong one. Sorry, Sean. Ant, we talked about it pre-show. I mean, watching him play, Trey Murphy, I mean, he's a stud. Like, he goes to the basket like 3-4 times a game and gets no call. It's unbelievable. I think he's got upside at like 4 to 7 more free throws a night. But just with Zion back, I know the minutes are there. You know, I think he's maxed out price-wise. He's not a bad play. Tonight, I just can't get on him. But I absolutely love playing him. I love rostering, especially when Zion's out. That would be interesting, too, if you think Zion is out of shape and not going to get the minutes. You load him up, and he'll get 20 more minutes than him. But absolutely, I couldn't agree more.
You briefly mentioned PJ. I'm all over PJ at 7,200. What's your take on PJ coming back? You know, first game back from the All-Star break, but first game for him, I think, in 6 games with an ankle.
Yeah, I think 72. I mean, his price is there, but I think, you know, you're able to get in shape during, you know, the All-Star break. 7,200 against a really bad Pelicans team. I do like it a lot. So, I mean, I think it'd be too easy to build 2 of these Mavericks and just saying, hey, whether it's Kyrie and PJ for more expensive or Kyrie and Christie or PJ and Christie, I think no matter what, you know, with a 238 total, with a 2 possession game and a team total of 121, I don't think these guys are priced enough.
Yeah. Benjamin, I don't know about you, but for Edwards, for me, I'm going to go to the Shiptimizer. There's going to be a little X on the left-hand side. I'm going to click that X next to Kessler Edwards' name, and then I'm going to be rocking and rolling, baby. So, yeah, that's just me personally, especially with Kyrie back. If PJ's back, he's going to get the big old X. Any love for Kessler Edwards, I think is his name.
You said it right. I'm going to keep my pool nice and small in this game. I think that this is kind of like a deeper thought process, but like when you see this total, you see this game, you see these teams, like guys that are building 50 lineups, 100 lineups, 150, they're going to get as many combos as they can of this. So if I'm not making that many lineups, like which is how I play, I'm going to really pick the guys that I like and then try and get combos outside of that and kind of mix and match and other combo packs and other games and other teams that I really like and just picking my favorite plays.
Excellent breakdown. That's all 6 games. You can head over to SHIPIT Nation to get the rest of our thoughts on all the FanDuel games. You can get BJ, myself, and Rio in the chat up to a lock. You can get our core plays of the day. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button all the way out. We got 300 people in here. They want BJ's Deuce McBride guaranteed play of the day, BJ. Give me your Deuce McBride nut play of the day. Who's going to have, let's say, the most point per dollar on the slate tonight?
Man, I hate to do it because he's going to be a little bit more popular than I think what we're thinking, but it's Jordan Poole, man. Pool party. I think, you know, he's going to take 10 threes tonight. I think he's good for 6 or 7 of them. He's one of my favorite players to watch when he gets hot, and I think this is a night that he can definitely, you know, flirt with 50 DraftKings points. And not only that, but you're able to stack that game up, and I really, really like it. So give me all the Jordan Poole, and hopefully, you know, me and whoever else follows, definitely Sean Sullivan inside the chat are having, you know, all of the Jordan Poole gifts in chat about 10 o'clock my time tonight.
Deuce McBride, PJ Washington, Jordan Poole, then we're printing money, baby. Come back Monday. BJ and I are going to be on the show. If Deuce McBride gets outscored by Kevin Porter Jr., we're going to give away a ticket on Monday. So make sure you tune in Monday if that happens. Tune in Monday anyway. BJ, any closing thoughts before we get on out of here for the weekend?
No, man, 6 games. I mean, we know where ownership is going to go as far as the games and the players. So if you have games you really like, you know, specifically for me, that Cavs game to start the slate, I believe there's definitely options to do that. So don't get too honed in, you know, to some of these value plays. You can make some nice pivots and some nice pivots on the game stack. So get you real different on a 6-game slate.
Yeah, excellent breakdown there. Appreciate all 300 of you tuning in. We certainly appreciate it. For BJ, I'm Ham. We'll see you on Monday. Let's ship it.